Welcome to this episode of the Grow Renaissance podcast. This is a special episode. In this episode, you are going to hear the Grow Renaissance Manifesto, a manifesto to nourish the world. This includes everything of the what and the why behind this Renaissance, the community that we are building behind it, and how we are going to go out and truly nourish the world. So, without further ado, here is the Grow Renaissance Manifesto.
The Grow Renaissance, a manifesto to nourish the world. Introduction. The right to be nourished. There is a right that belongs to every human soul. The right to be nourished. Not merely fed, but nourished. Nourished in body, in mind, in spirit. Nourished by clean water and trusted, transparent systems. Nourished by land that gives and communities that grow. Nourished by purpose. Nourished by prosperity. To be human is to expand and to grow in relationship, to grow in contribution, to grow in alignment with the world, not against it. The Grow Renaissance begins with this truth. It is not only possible, it is essential to build systems that nourish everyone, and in doing so, preserve what makes us human. To live a full and creative life, a person must have access to resources, not by chance, but by design. Grow is that design. Grow is the sustainable path. Grow is the regenerative map. We declare the end of extractive thinking. We declare the death of systems that drain the earth and the soul. We declare that value multiplies in the hands of many. Prosperity is not a zero-sum game. It is the natural result of aligned incentives, ethical design, and a reverence for life in all its forms. And so we rise, not in conquest, but in cultivation. This is the way forward. This is the Grow Renaissance. Chapter 1. The Science of Regenerative Wealth. All things grow by law. There is nothing random in the blossoming of a seed, the rising of a tree, or the flourishing of a network. Wealth and health, too, follow law. There is a science to regenerative wealth, and it can be learned, practiced, and applied. This science is not hidden in vaults, it is coded in the fabric of the earth. Regenerative wealth does not come from taking more. It comes from designing better, from planting with purpose, from building loops of value that give back more than they take. To nourish the world, we must create systems that reward stewardship, reward transparency, and reward collective wisdom. Grow is not a company. Grow is not a project. Grow is a living pattern. A pattern rooted in sustainability, made possible by decentralization, and aligned with what humanity needs now more than ever, a future we can thrive in. When you act in alignment with this pattern, you cannot help but grow. You grow when you create value for others. You grow when you coordinate without coercion. You grow when you give more than you take. You grow when you cultivate on-chain truth and off-chain trust. This is not mysticism. It is mechanism. It is math. It is motion. It is the path that keeps us human. And it is already underway. Chapter 2. The Pattern of Prosperity. Prosperity is not a mystery. It is a pattern. Look to the forest. Look to the soil. Look to the ocean tides. All of life grows in cycles of giving, of taking, of regenerating. No living system hoards. No river flows in only one direction. No tree grows alone. Prosperity emerges where value circulates. Grow follows this pattern, not a pattern of extraction, but of reciprocation. Not a pattern of control, but of coordination. It is designed to scale not with greed, but with generosity. The old pattern is broken. The old systems promised wealth but delivered waste. They rewarded speculation and punished stewardship. They extracted from the many to enrich the few, and in doing so, they broke the pattern. We do not need to patch these systems, we must plant new ones. Grow is not a fix, grow is a foundation. A foundation where value grows through contribution, not competition. Where wealth flows to those who nourish the system, not those who game it, where every action, on chain and off, can be a seed, a new pattern rooted in design. Prosperity is not random, it is cultivated. It begins with principles, moves through participation, and blossoms in the commons. The grow pattern rewards stewardship over speculation, transparency over opacity, interdependence over isolation, circulation over stagnation. It is a system built to breathe, to balance, to bring forth. When you align with the grow pattern, your actions matter more. Your work echoes further. Your impact compounds across networks, across people, across generations. Your place in the pattern. You do not need permission to prosper. You only need alignment. The Grow Renaissance is not waiting for you to be chosen. It is waiting for you to choose. Choose to plant. Choose to cultivate. Choose to act in harmony with the patterns that all life follows. The pattern of regeneration, of creation, of true wealth. This is not theory. This is practice. This is the path, and it is open. Chapter 3: The System That Breathes. Not all systems are built to breathe. Most are rigid, linear, closed. They feed the center and starve the edges. They hoard trust, hide truth, and collapse under the weight of their own complexity. But a living system moves, it flexes, it adapts, it circulates, it breathes. Grow is built on such a system, and the name of that system is blockchain. Why blockchain? Because trust must scale, because transparency must not be a privilege, because coordination must not require coercion, because we cannot nourish the world with black boxes and broken incentives. Blockchain is not just a ledger, it is a living memory, a record that cannot lie, that cannot vanish, that cannot be manipulated by the few at the expense of the many. It is not merely decentralized, it is decentralized on purpose. How blockchain breathes. 1. It breathes through consensus. Decisions are made in the open, agreements are verified by many, power is diffused. 2. It breathes through immutability. Once written, truth remains. Stories can't be rewritten to serve the powerful. Every action is accountable. 3. It breathes through composability. Protocols stack, systems integrate, value flows. Like roots in a forest, everything connects. 4. It breathes through participation. No gatekeepers, you participate not by status, but by contribution. Grow is the soil. But even the best system needs fertile ground. Grow is not just blockchain, it is what grows from it. It is how we embed ethics in the architecture. It is how we turn open code into open cooperation. It is how we plant governance into the ground of community. Grow takes the breath of blockchain and channels it into nourishment, into equitable systems of access, into regenerative economies, into collective prosperity. This is not technology for its own sake. This is infrastructure for aliveness. Matching tradition with technology. We are not discarding the past, we are rooting into it. The Grow Renaissance honors the wisdom of ancient systems, of circular economies, of community ownership, of stewardship passed down across generations. These are not outdated ideas, they are proven blueprints. What was once oral tradition, we now encode in open protocols. What was once done by hand, we now enhance through distributed coordination. What was once trusted through story, we now validate through blockchain. Grow does not romanticize the past, it reclaims what worked, and it does not worship the new. It chooses only the technology that serves life. This is how we match the best of tradition with the best of innovation. Local co-ops meet global DAOs. Soil maps meet smart contracts. Community votes meet on-chain governance. Folk knowledge meets open source code. The Renaissance is not a return. It is a reunion of what has always been wise with what is finally possible. Grow breathes because it remembers, and because it evolves. A living, breathing future. The grow system breathes because the world demands it. Static systems cannot meet dynamic needs. Closed systems cannot nourish open futures. And so we build with openness, we build with transparency, we build with soil and soul, with roots and runtime. This is the system that breathes, and from it we grow. Chapter 4: Proof of Action. Not all effort is equal. There is action that depletes and action that compounds, action that extracts and action that enriches, action that vanishes into noise and action that echoes through ecosystems. The Grow Renaissance is built not on belief, but on proof. Not proof of stake, not proof of work, but proof of action. What is proof of action? It is the demonstration of value, not through speculation, but through stewardship. It is the evidence of participation, not by holding tokens, but by holding responsibility. It is the verification of contribution, on chain, in real time, in full view. Proof of action means your work matters. It is seen, it is counted, it is rewarded. In a grow powered world, action is not wasted. It is recorded, recognized, and redistributed. Your effort becomes equity. Your impact becomes income. Your contribution becomes community. How proof of action benefits all. 1. The individual grows when you act in alignment with the regenerative principles you grow. You gain reputation, you earn rewards, you build trust. You become a living node of value in the grow ecosystem. 2. The network strengthens. Every good action strengthens the whole. The system becomes more resilient, coordination becomes easier, we build a culture of contribution. 3. The world nourishes. Actions aligned with grow don't just benefit the self. They regenerate soil, support farmers, empower data sovereignty, and multiply access to resources. Proof of action turns local work into global impact. What counts as action? Stewarding land? Action. Uploading transparent supply data? Action. Participating in governance with informed votes? Action. Helping others navigate the protocol? Action. Sharing knowledge? Building tools? Tending community? All action. In Grow, value creation is multidimensional. The system knows how to see what legacy systems ignore. A culture of aligned incentives. The systems of the past rewarded the loudest, the fastest, the most extractive. Grow rewards those who move with integrity, consistency, and care. It is not the hustle that wins, it is the harmony. The new wealth is measured in nourishment, and it flows not to those who wait, but to those who act. This is your proof. You do not need to ask for permission to matter. You already do. In Grow, your proof is not in what you say, it is in what you plan, what you build, what you grow. This is proof of action, and it is how we rise. Chapter 5: The Wealth of the Many. Wealth is not a castle, it is a commons. It is not what you lock away, it is what you make available. It is not the sum of what one holds, but the sum of what we uplift together. The Grow Renaissance restores this truth. Real wealth is grown in the open, and it is multiplied in the hands of many. The myth of scarcity. For too long, we were told there is not enough. Not enough land, not enough money, not enough energy, not enough time. But the scarcity was never in the resources. It was in the design. Systems were built to consolidate, to hoard, to divide. But in nature, nothing thrives in isolation. Abundance is the natural state. When systems circulate, when people cooperate. Grow redistributes the power to create. Grow does not promise everyone will be wealthy. It promises that everyone will have access to the means to create wealth. It redistributes opportunity, not outcomes. It spreads the power to build, not the illusion of safety. Through open protocols, through interoperable data, through collaborative governance. Grow offers every contributor the ability to co-own and co-direct the future. Many hands, one ecosystem. The Grow Network thrives because it is not built on celebrity. It is built on community, farmers and developers, data scientists and land stewards, voters and validators, storytellers and builders. All are equal in the eyes of the protocol. And when all are aligned, not in uniformity, but in purpose, wealth flows naturally. Not just digital tokens, but shared tools, shared insight, shared sovereignty, wealth that regenerates as it circulates. The network effect of generosity. The wealth of the many is not a dilution, it is a multiplier. When one grows, all can grow. When one node acts, the network strengthens. When we share what we create, we do not lose value, we unlock it. Grow rewards that, it sees that, it scales that. A new definition of wealth. Wealth is food that sustains, knowledge that is free, land that is cared for, systems that serve the people who power them. The wealth of the many is not a fantasy. It is already forming in farms, in forums, in DAOs, in decentralized networks rising from the soil of broken systems. This is the Grow Renaissance. This is wealth that breathes. This is the rise of the many and the extraction of none. Chapter 6: Gratitude, Governance, and Growth. True governance is not control, it is cultivation. It is the tending of systems, not the tightening of rules. It is the asking of questions, not the hoarding of answers. It is the collective act of choosing what grows, how it grows, and who it grows for. In the Grow Renaissance, governance is not an obligation, it is an opportunity. It is a gratitude in motion. Governance begins with gratitude. Why gratitude? Because to govern something wisely, you must first recognize its value. You must see the soil. You must know the cost of depletion. You must feel the rhythm of renewal. Gratitude is not passivity. It is the source code of stewardship. It turns users into guardians. It turns protocols into relationships. Grow's governance is built for growth. Most systems treat governance like gatekeeping, slow, narrow, fragile. Grow rewrites that pattern. It is modular, adaptive, decentralized by design. It invites participation at every level, whether through proposals, voting, delegations, or working groups. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need permissions to propose. In Grow, if you understand the need, you can shape the response. Governance here is not a burden, it is a channel for growth. Growth happens where responsibility lives. Participation is power, but responsibility is what makes that power regenerative. In Grow, you vote with intention, not indifference. You contribute with care, not for clout. You govern with vision, not ego. This is governance that learns, that composts what no longer serves, that evolves not to survive, but to flourish. A culture of conscious power. In the Grow Renaissance, we do not wait for a better system. We become it. We do not mimic old hierarchies. We build new harmonies. We govern not from scarcity, but from plenty, not with fear, but with gratitude for what we are entrusted to grow. This is how growth becomes sacred. This is how stewardship becomes systemic. This is how governance becomes generative. Grow is not just what we build, it is how we care for what we built. Gratitude, governance, growth. In that order, every time. Chapter 7: The Renaissance Worker. This is the age of the many-skilled, many-hearted human. The one who knows how to plant, how to write code, how to gather voices, how to move a DAO, how to hold space, how to build systems and soil. The old economy divided labor. The new economy multiplies purpose. The Renaissance worker is not a cog. They are a cultivator, a synthesizer, a sovereign node in the Grow ecosystem. Who is the Renaissance worker? They are not defined by title. They are not defined by resume. They are recognized by their alignment. The farmer who uploads soil health data, the developer who builds open tools for small communities, the educator who turns protocol into story, the artist who expresses the mission in form and feeling, the organizer who ensures that governance includes the ground level. Each one is a thread in the fabric of the Grow Renaissance. Many roles, one ethos. The Renaissance worker doesn't do everything, but they understand how everything connects. Curiosity fuels them, service grounds them, autonomy empowers them, regeneration defines their output. They work in cycles, not sprints, in networks, not hierarchies. They are resilient because they are relational. A new ethic of work. In the Grow Renaissance, work is not extractive. It is not burnout by design. It is not productivity without purpose. Work is nourishment. It is contribution with context. It is effort that leaves the world better than it found it. The Renaissance worker is not hustling to escape poverty. They are cultivating shared prosperity. Grow makes the invisible visible. In legacy systems, care work is unpaid. In Grow, it is seen, validated, rewarded. In legacy systems, you are only valuable if you scale. In Grow, you are valuable when you serve the pattern. Grow turns coordination into currency. Grow turns contribution into reputation. Grow turns intention into infrastructure. Rise of the Renaissance worker. You are not just a laborer. You are not just a user. You are a co-creator of a regenerative world. You are not replaceable. You are not disposable. You are essential. The Renaissance worker is rising, not to clock in, but to cultivate, not to execute orders, but to orchestrate futures. And with every act, every proposal, every planting, the Renaissance grows. Chapter 8: The New Commons. What belongs to everyone must be protected by everyone. For too long, we watched as the commons were carved up, land sold off, water poisoned, data mined, knowledge paywalled. But the Grow Renaissance begins here, with a reclaiming, a remembering, that value is not what we own, but what we share, steward, and sustain. What are the commons? The commons are not relics of the past, they are the foundation of the future. The air we breathe, the food we grow, the data we produce, the knowledge we build, the systems we rely on. They are not free because they are worthless, they are free because they are priceless. The digital commons, reclaimed by design. In Web 2, your data was the product. In Grow, your data is the seed. Grow turns digital exhaust into digital empowerment. It gives contributors control over what they create, whether that's crop metrics or code, governance input, or regenerative insight. It protects the commons not with firewalls, but with transparency, not with secrecy, but with open protocols and aligned incentives. Grow as commons infrastructure. Grow is not a company with customers. It is a commons with contributors. It does not lock value behind doors. It opens the gate and hands you a spade. It provides tools, not tolls, protocols, not platforms, coordination, not coercion. And in doing so, it lets communities shape their own economies, from land co ops to data unions, from seed banks to shared liquidity. Building the commons is the work. If the old world fenced off what we shared, the Grow Renaissance asks us to build what we can share again, to treat the digital world like a forest, diverse, interdependent, and requiring stewardship. Every Git commit, every governance proposal, every soil scan, every piece of regenerative wisdom. Each one is a contribution to the commons. The commons are coming back, not because of charity, but because of clarity, because the future is too precious to privatize. The commons are not utopia, they are infrastructure, a network of care, a design for access, a living agreement between us all. And Grow is here to make them bloom again. We are no longer visitors to the commons, we are cultivators of them. This is how we build systems that feed the many. This is how we root our future in care, not control. This is the new commons, and they are rising. Chapter 9: The World We Are Growing. We are not waiting for the future, we are growing it. And it does not arrive all at once. It emerges, bit by bit, block by block, seed by seed. In the Grow Renaissance, the world doesn't change by decree. It transforms by design, by intention, by action in alignment with natural law and digital truth. This is a world where farmers are technologists. They scan their soil, track nutrients on chain, and receive direct value for their stewardship. Data is not mined, it is cultivated. Contributors own their digital selves. Community data unions negotiate value, not exploitation. Co ops replace corporations. Local economies run on shared protocols. Workers become stakeholders. Decisions move at the speed of consensus. Governance is joyful. It happens in the open. It's participatory, poetic, and pragmatic. People vote because they care, not because they're coerced. Technology doesn't extract, it regenerates. Systems are designed to repair, not deplete, to learn, not lock, to breathe, not dominate. Wealth isn't hoarded, it circulates. You don't win by holding. You grow by giving, coordinating, contributing. These are not dreams, they are designs. They are already forming. In community gardens linked to tokenized incentives, in DAOs building open source food systems, in decentralized climate networks and on chain educational commons. They are emerging from Nairobi to Oakland, from Bangalore to Bogota. Wherever people have been told they are users, Grow reminds them you are co creators. The world we are growing is transparent, not opaque, participatory, not performative, regenerative, not extractive, nourishing, not neutral. It is a world where dignity is protocol, where coordination becomes culture, where everything that grows gives back more than it takes. You are not an observer. You are a node in this network, a thread in this pattern, a living signal in a breathing system. You are already part of the world we are growing, with every aligned action, with every value rooted contribution, with every time you choose cooperation over control, cultivation over consumption. This is not science fiction. This is social function. This is not utopia. This is infrastructure. This is the Grow Renaissance, and this is the world we are growing. Chapter 10: Call to Cultivate. It is not enough to witness the vision. You must walk it into the world. The Grow Renaissance is not a brand. It is not a product. It is a pattern and a promise. A promise that if you act in alignment, if you sow with care, if you build with others, the future will grow. Pick up the plow. You do not need permission. You do not need perfection. You do not need to wait. You only need to begin. Plant something, an idea, a proposal, a relationship. Steward something, an ecosystem, a protocol, a piece of land. Share something, knowledge, tools, time, truth. The Grow blockchain will record it. The Grow network will recognize it, and the world will be better for it. This is your season. The soil is ready, the system breathes, the commons are rising, the Renaissance worker is here. This is not a movement for later. This is not a plan for someday. This is the moment. This is your row to hoe. This is your chapter to write. The Renaissance grows because of you. Every vote you cast with care, every line of code that frees, every tree you plant, every DAO you tend, every elder you listen to, it all grows. It all counts. It all belongs. You are not a spectator. You are not a passive user. You are the cultivator of this era. What will you contribute? A new economy? A transparent supply chain? An intergenerational cooperative? A blockchain that remembers the soil? The Grow Renaissance does not tell you what to build. It simply gives you the ground, the tools, and the truth. That value, when rooted in care, cannot help but expand and grow. So plant, so build, so coordinate, so cultivate. The world is ready, the future is fertile, and the Grow Renaissance has only just begun.
Thank you for listening to today's episode and making it all the way through the Grow Renaissance Manifesto. If what you just listened to is something that you believe in, something that touched your heart, and something that you want to support, this is how you can do it. First and foremost, set up a account on the Grow blockchain. If you already have an account, then you've already checked that box. If you don't, then go to the description of this podcast and there will be a link to set up a free Grow account and a wallet that supports the blockchain. The second step of that, and this is the most important one, is there is a Grow Renaissance Manifesto NFT that can be purchased inside of your Grow shopping cart. That NFT is $10. And this is what happens with that $10. Every manifesto that is purchased, you will receive $10 in Grow rewards inside of your Grow wallet. And also, every bit of that $10 goes back into supporting the blockchain, supporting the buying of tokens to refill the battery that will be giving you your Grow rewards. And most importantly, it is access to our community. As you just listened to, this is not a company, this is not a project, but this is a true foundation of a new way of doing things in a decentralized way. And the more people that we get that sign this manifesto by holding that NFT in their wallet, the more good we can do it out in the world and the more nourishment that we can get. So, again, if anything touched you in what you just listened to, please make sure you have your Grow blockchain account. Join the movement, join the Renaissance, rise up with everyone that has already joined, and let's go out and nourish the world.